My look at the Mission Impossible franchise is here to celebrate the upcoming release of The Final Reckoning. Let's get the ball rolling with the first film in 1996 to see how Brian De Palma kicked off the cinematic tradition. One thing I'd like to establish is that I have never seen the original television shows that these films are based on. Therefore, anything I have to say about them will be self-contained. We open on Kyiv, Ukraine, which was using the Kyiv spelling at the time, as the IMF is trying to gain information on an individual known as Medvedev. A lot of the scenes involving the early web design are kind of neat looking back, and the sting operation introduces us the star of the story and the franchise once he pulls his mask off. Ethan Hunt, played by Tom Cruise. Cue the Fuse Dynamite credits, which shows what we're in for over the next hour and 50 minutes. Cutting to a plane trip, we're introduced to Jim Phelps, played by Jon Voight. He's given a briefly disguised in-flight movie, and we rejoin him later. Also, he covers up the smoke from self-destruct by lighting one up himself. For fairly obvious reasons, we don't smoke on planes anymore. The initial setup to recover a stolen list of names from Alexander Golitsyn, played by Marcel Ayuras. He's in Prague and was intercepted before the intel is sold off. The script is film from Steve Zolomon and the accomplished scribe David Koepp is ideal summer movie fare. Fast-paced, tightly plotted, and steadily increasing tensions. As the Prague sequence is set in motion, both De Palma and DP Stephen H. Burham have done incredible work on this film. Even today, there's some great camera shots here. One by one, the team is killed, the intel is stolen, and Hunt is now the hunted. That's just the film's true inciting incident. It must clear his name, a crime he didn't commit, and that knife in his hand will be important later. Golitsyn is dead, and Hunt must find out what's went wrong. Also like how the Bravo Echo 11 code is a mere 1138, as in a TOS X Locus homage. Hunt meets with his contact Eugene Kittredge, played by Henry Cerny. He gives no way out until they can figure out who burned them, which establishes a central theme of this franchise and genre. Not knowing who can be trusted. Sure enough, once Kittredge starts trying to intimidate Ethan, he uses the explosive size as a stick of gum from an earlier scene to escape. Hunt must find a man known as Job, and once again I do have a soft spot for this movie's depiction of the Web 1.0 page layouts, kind of like the OG Space Jam site, which even brought back for the sequel. And a time before Google dominated online search, becoming synonymous with the term the same way dumpster, thermos, and Kleenex are for trash bins, drink containers, and tissues. Phelps' wife Claire, played by Emmanuel Bert, visits Hunt in his hotel room, and as day breaks, he explains what's happened so far. She aids him in getting out of the country, albeit in a shroud, something he remarks on. He is introduced to Max, played by Vanessa Redgrave, and her contact Matthias, played by Karel Dobry. Hunt strikes a deal with Max over the stolen list to recover in exchange for amnesty what happened. Claire helps get Hunt back to the mainland, introduced to a couple more key players. Franz Krieger, played by Jean Reno, and Luther Stickel, played by Ving Rhames, the latter of whom will become a franchise mainstay. The next sequence is getting into the pressurized vault in Langley, with one of the most homage and spoof scenes in this franchise. The only one allowed in or out is Will Donlow, played by Rolf Saxon. He's even coming back as a villain of Final Reckoning, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. The way Hunt goes over the security measures makes this section like a heist film, and I'm eager to go over this and other sequences in this marathon. Luther poses a fireman to clear out one phase of the electronic countermeasures, even slips in with the rest of his crew. Anyone else want a tasty, refreshing Diet Coke? Claire spikes Donlow's coffee, sent him to the bathroom with digestive issues. It's this scene that subconsciously has me get my own drink whenever I can. With Hunt suspended from the rafters, the list is recovered with only Franz's knife left behind as evidence. When that's being brought back for Final Reckoning. Maybe not the most iconic movie weapon or prop ever, but it's always something that triggered memory and desire to see the new movie. As for the rat and the ducks that's later found dead, I see what you did there, Brian. As they attempt to return the covered list of names by train in London, Krieger double-crosses Hunt via chopper, and not only is Jim alive, he's the one behind everything ever since Prague. Not only that, he wanted to keep the conflict going because, as he sees it, there's no money in post-Cold War peace. Well, Jim Phelps' portrayal at the time was seen as divisive among the show's creators and cast. Peter Graves, who played Phelps' original variant, was not a fan, unless it makes sense for a story as someone who hasn't seen the show. I will also add seeing John Voight as antagonistic isn't really much of a stretch anymore. The whole final action scene in the channel is just fantastic. Even though the CGI has aged, the practical aspects of the sequence still hold up remarkably well after nearly 30 years. The mixture still persists to this day, with the visual effects of the last movie being award nominated. And no, they're Bond parallel. Parts of the sequence are shot in the same locations, sound stages that used in the James Bond franchise in Buckinghamshire. With his name cleared and the list recovered, Luther is more than happy to help Ethan anytime. We close on Ethan on the plane being handed his next assignment from the flight attendant. We'll talk more about that next time. Though the film initially received mixed reviews upon release, it's since undergone a re-evaluation and is seen now as a spy film that can stand at peer with the 007 franchise. Speaking personally, the whole franchise is my favorite Tom Cruise's work, his divisive personal life aside. Naturally, it was among the biggest hits in 1996, taking $180 million domestically and over $457 million worldwide on an $80 million budget. It's a great way to kick off the look back ahead of the final reckoning. My final rating, 4 out of 4. Look at the franchise continues next time with 2000's Mission Impossible 2.